welcome in a very special guest analyst to our show. Joining us for the rest of the week, It is NBA champion Jeremy Lin.
Well, look at that jacket.
It is a jacket. It is a fit for a champion and fit for our newest guest analyst. Joining us for the rest of the week, Jeremy, welcome to the show. It's so good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
We are so excited.
Brother.
Don't worry, Perk doesn't bite.
I want it's stuff for food.
We are so excited to have you talking hoops with us for the rest of the week. We were chatting a little bit before the show, and I said, well, how do you want to get into it? He said, I want to talk about basketball. So let's do it. Let's get straight to it. We're going to go coast to coast, get caught up on the action from around the NBA. And we're going to start here with Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. He had 23 points, 17 rebounds, tied a season-high 17 assists to lead the Nuggets over the Suns. Denver back and forth, 1.5 games behind the Lakers. Parker, folks sleeping on them.
I wouldn't say sleeping on them. I think they're finally getting healthy, and they still have to show the world that they're ready to compete with the two top dogs in Oklahoma City and the San Antonio Spurs, because both of those two teams are standing on business right now.
On to New York, Mr. Perkins. That's for Big Body Brunson. He scored 32 points. Karl Anthony Towns added his 4th straight 20-point, 10-rebound game as a member of the Knicks. Jeremy, you authored in Linsanity there. You played in New York. How different is that than any other arena?
It's definitely different. I think, you can walk away with 2 stories. One, it's amazing to be here. I love the energy. Or 2, the fans are annoying, or the media, they always twist my words. And so it's all about keeping the positive energy.
You got to keep the main thing, especially when you are in New York City. That's absolutely right. Next up, the Buzz City Killers. They stung the Kings with 26 three-pointers last night. Charlotte improved to 22-6 since January the 22nd. That's the second-best win percentage in the NBA over that span, behind only San Antonio. Tim, what's making this team so dangerous?
I mean, this is one of the most entertaining teams in the league, and they have a clear identity. They run and they gun. LaMelo Ball running the show, surrounded by Shooter Khan, Knipple, Brandon Miller playing up to their draft stock. And I wouldn't want to see these guys in the first round.
Me either.
That's the action that happened last night. But how about tonight? Something has to give, because you got the Thunder, the top-ranked defense, visiting the Celtics and their second-ranked offense here. So off the strength of these numbers, these two teams have the shortest odds to win the title. That's according to DraftKings Sportsbook. And that high-powered Celtics offense, it's going to get tested tonight. They continue to adjust to having Jayson Tatum back in the lineup here, Jeremy. And you've suffered significant injury in your career. The fact that Jayson Tatum has come back in this way, what have you learned about him?
The mentality. Anytime you're coming back from a huge injury, it's all about mentality. For me, I see him. First off, he's playing 30 minutes a night, which I wasn't expecting, but he's shooting more shots per minute of his whole career. He's averaging a career high in rebounds in 6 to 7 minutes less than he normally plays. And so I think the mentality that he has of just attacking and being himself versus being gun shy or trying to ease in, I think that's the biggest difference that I see. So honestly, I think we should study how he's been recovering from this injury and his mindset of coming back.
And the crazy thing to me, people are looking at his shooting percentages. He is 2 weeks into a return after a 10-month rehab from an Achilles. You're going to need your kind of guy's shooting percentages. The fact that he's out there, that he's moving pretty well, you don't need to give a 2-week progress report. He doesn't need to be Jayson Tatum that we're used to in March. He doesn't need to be that guy even, frankly, in April. They need him as close to himself in May and beyond if they're going to make that kind of run.
I know the camera was on me. I wasn't texting anybody. I was actually Googling something, because tonight is one of those nights that the Celtics need to make a statement. This is one of those moments they need to make a statement. They are, 5-1 against the Thunder, 5-1 in their last 6 meetings. At some point, you got to make a statement to the champs. I believe the Celtics should be the favorite coming out of the Eastern Conference. Tim, Jeremy, I'm with you. People are looking at his shooting percentages, and people are questioning, has Jayson Tatum messed up the offense of Joe Mazzulla, which is an asinine thing to say. It has been the same system for the last 2 or 3 years, even when they won a championship.
Yeah.
It takes 10 to 15 games just for a guy to get his legs up under him in his rhythm. But what he's been doing in other categories, rebounding, assisting, being out there on on the floor, the fact that he's playing 30 minutes a game is enough in itself.
I do think, though, it's going to be an interesting matchup for Jayson Tatum and the Boston Celtics tonight, right? Because the last time that these two teams met, Jayson Tatum didn't play. J-Dub didn't play either. So J-Dub may be on Tatum. I know usually that's a torture chamber job, but tonight we maybe see having Dort on Jaylen Brown and how maybe that could shake things up. But on the other side, for the Thunder, they've won 12 straight games. They've won 7 straight on the road here. Perk, how do you assess that?
I mean, they still have the deepest roster in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, Jared McCain should be a starter in the league. Like, think about that for a second. He had, 26 the other night in Philly. And it's like you don't never know where they're going to cut you at. They'll cut you everywhere but loose. And I'm going to say this. It's a lot of pressure on SGA.
Tonight?
For the remaining of the season. His level of play got to stay high if he's trying to go win that MVP award. I heard Victor Wembanyama comments. I've been watching the play of Wemby. I see what Luka is doing. So this rest part of the season, yes, it's about continue to keep that #1 seed and continue to build, but it's also about SGA individual and keeping that MVP trophy in Oklahoma City.
I got bad news for the rest of the league. You mentioned OKC is the deepest team in the league. This is the deepest that they've ever been. This is the healthiest they've ever been. That starting lineup has only played, this will be, I think, their 8th game together all season long. This is the first time in forever they've had the entire rotation. And it's not just about having all of their guys available. Jalen Williams, coming off that offseason wrist surgery, hadn't shot the ball well. He's had the hamstrings. The wrist hasn't been right. He said this is the best his wrist has felt. He said that wrist is 100%. If they've got the All-NBA version of J-Dub back, watch out.
Also, just adding in on Shea, I know people talk a lot about him as being a foul baiter and whatnot, but to be a guard shooting 55%, that's something that Jokic would do. He's around the paint a lot. He's able to get a lot, use his size. For a guard to shoot 55% and for him to continue to grow, which we're not talking as much about his development year in, year out, his assists, his playmaking, his assist-turnover ratio, taking care of the ball, all those things are going up. And you don't see MVP caliber players continuing to improve all that often. And so I do think there's something just not taking
it's not just something, it's a lot of something. He's joining Jordan again this year for the 4th consecutive season of averaging 30, shooting over 50%. So you're absolutely right.
And now they have their playoff starting lineup all back together again, as you mentioned. So this is getting scary time maybe for the rest of the league. Okay, so in the West, though, the race for that 3 through 6, it's heating up. And we got a big one tonight in Minnesota, the Rockets and the Timberwolves. Minnesota is a half game ahead of Houston for that 5th spot. But the Rockets, they can clinch the head-to-head tiebreaker if they are able to get the win tonight. But the thing is, they've been 5-5 in their last 10 games. And we've talked a lot about what they need to do to find that consistency here. What do you see as being the key to that here, Jeremy?
I mean, you know more than I do, but with the Rockets and with KD, I feel like for them to be successful, they really need that second and third option to be playing really well. When he was in OKC or when he was with the Warriors, I felt like to have that second, third really playing well. So to me, Sengun is just somebody that is a huge key to this team. And when he's scoring 20-plus, they're 22-8. And so for me, it really comes down to him getting the support around him in the playmaking.
I'm going to just keep it real. The Rockets don't have coaching.
But do they have time? Like, I wonder if they have the time to find the consistency that they need in order to be able to win a playoff series.
Think about this for a second, y'all. Tim, think about this. Ime Udoka has called this team out how many times? Now, Kevin Durant addressed the comment that I said on Countdown last week when I called and said they act like they don't like one another. He went and addressed it. I know you watching, and I hope you're watching this. They need a leader in the locker room. They need somebody that's going to come in, be that guy, that glue guy. Yes, Fred VanVleet is the voice, but he's not playing. You need somebody on the floor. And then, obviously, we could point at Sengun. He needs to elevate his level of play defensively. Like, that has to get better. So, again, when you talk about checking the boxes, Ime Udoka is trying to find a way to balance because when he has Reed Shepherd on the floor, they struggle defensively, but they're better offensively.
And listen, he's giving Reed Shepherd a test run as a starter here. And for the first couple games that they put Reed Shepherd in the starting lineup, it paid off on the offensive end, especially in that win against the Heat where KD's in the corner. He doesn't have the ball at the top of the offense. He hits a couple corner threes, including passing Michael Jordan. The downside bit him in Chicago when that bullseye on Reed Sheppard on the defensive end. They attacked that down the stretch.
The question just becomes, you're 70 games into the season and you're still talking about finding something. How much time is left to be able to do that, to achieve